Hey guys, back to my channel. This is HD Signatures. So I'm doing a tutorial on foundation, highlighting and contouring. So if you guys want to see how it goes, then please keep on watching. So to start with, I already gone ahead to cleanse my face. I applied the moisturizer and also use a primer. So now I'm going to be just to glow up my skin underneath the foundation. I'm going to be applying an illuminator. Then afterwards, I'm going to be concealing my spots, and I'll be using Elegant Cosmetics Concealer in Chestnut. I found out that this works really well for me, but you can do yours either way. You can decide to do your foundation first before your concealer. It all depends on how you want it, but for me, this works really well for me and doesn't make my foundation look too heavy. So I'm just going to lightly use my finger to pat that onto the part where I have the spot. It's not going to go all over my face. I'm just going to put it where it's needed. So afterwards, I'm going to be applying a foundation, and this foundation is from DEETS Cosmetics. So I'm using that with a beauty blender. So I'm just going to be starting from the center of my face, because that's where it's needed most. I'm going to be starting from there, then I'll blend outward and also apply where I feel I will need it. So I'm just going to be taking time to blend in my foundation, into my skin, to my neck side, the back of my ears and all that. So guys, for your foundation to last really long, you have to take time to blend it into your skin. You have to blend it well. You make sure you cover everywhere, because foundation are meant to be part of your skin. They are not meant to accessorize your skin. So afterwards, I'm going to be highlighting my face, and I'm using Elegant Cosmetics, and I'm going to be using two shades. I'll be using Fawn, which is what I'm using right now. Then after that, I'll be going over with Pure Beige, and that is I'm going to be applying that in the inner corners of my eyes so that it doesn't come out too bright.
I can't find my way back to you till you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home.
For my contouring, I'm going to be using a foundation as well, and this foundation is also from DEETS Cosmetics, and I'm using a brush. This is like an artistic brush for painting. It's like a painting brush, so I just like the fact that it's flat and it's precise. So I'm just going to be using that to map out the areas where I want to contour. Guys, I'm doing all this because this is what suits my face shape. So I'll advise you guys to please read more on face shape, so you know what actually suits, what highlighting techniques or placement actually suits your kind of face. So I'm doing all this because this is what suits me. This is what I've tried over time, and it gives me that flattering look. So you don't have to necessarily follow the same way I'm placing it. Just follow it according to how your face shape is. So after that, I'm going to be using a Real Techniques brush. This is a contour brush, and I'm using that to stipple the products into my skin. Going over to my forehead to do the same thing I'll make sure I blend into my hairline so it doesn't have that demarcating line.
Until you find your way back home.
Then for my reverse contour, I'm going back to the highlighted part to blend out with a Real Techniques brush, and this is for is a foundation brush, but I don't use it for foundation because it's, for me, it's too small. I normally use it for blending out of highlighting or whichever part I feel will work nice for me, or to contour sometimes, because it's angled and it's flat, so I think it works well for me using it for such. So I'm just going to be patting on those areas that I highlighted. I'm not going to be spreading it out. I want to try and, as much as possible, to keep the area where I highlighted to be the part that I'm going to be blending out, so it doesn't spread out too much. Because another thing that will give it that definition when you're highlighting is to make sure that wherever you place those lighter products, you make sure that that's the bit that you blend. So the edges of it, you go over it with your contour brush, then also with whatsoever tools you use in applying your foundation, so it looks nice. So when you have that lighter product placed in a particular position on your face, you know, when the light catches that area, it makes it look out very pronounced, and it gives you that illusion of a pointy forehead or a pointy nose and all that. So for my under eye, I'm using a smaller brush, and this brush is from Elf Cosmetics. I'm using that to blend my under eye properly, and I'm barely pressing it onto my skin. I'm just doing it very, very light so it doesn't peel what I have on. If you're using a beauty blender, you do the same thing, but if you're using a brush, you have to be careful so it doesn't peel off what you have on your skin, like the product you have underneath, so it doesn't make it look patchy. So when you're handling your brush, you have to hold it at the end of the handle, so it gives you like a lighter blend rather than holding it in the middle. When you hold it in the middle, it makes it feel like you're pressured and you're putting more pressure on the brush. But if you hold it at the end, it gives you that very light blending, so if that makes sense. And also, when you want to have a very slim nose, whenever you're highlighting, you make sure you take your products, your blending and all that, close to the bridge of your nose, almost close to where you're going to contour, so that it gives you that shape of a very narrowed pointy nose. And I'm also going back to where I highlighted to slightly blend those area out. I'm taking a very flat edge angled brush to blend out the bridge of my nose. I'm not going to be using the same brush I used earlier for my under eye because it's a bit bigger than that, and it might make the part spread out too much. So also I'm using this brush. This brush is from Eco Tools, and it's more like a flat edge brush, but it's not very stiff, so it's easy for me because it's precise and pointy to just fit it to the area where I contoured the side of my nose, and it helps me blend it out very nice. So I'm just going to be using that, running that through the side of my nose where I did the pointy part for the ball of my nose, so that it blends out very well. And I'm going to be interchanging between that brush and the one I use under my eyes, so I use it to, like, wherever I place too much of, maybe blend out too much of the highlighted parts, I'll go back with that brush that I use for my under eye to add back the brightness. Then I'll now go back to my blending brush to blend out every lines all together so it looks one. So as you can see my skin, guys, you can't actually tell where they meet because already I blended them out seamlessly. So before you set your under eye, you will have to go back and blend out the creases underneath your eyes, because you have looked down to pick one or two things. Definitely your under eye will crease, so you have to go back and blend it out before setting. If not, if you set your under eye with those lines, it's just going to make you look aged and add more years to your age. So we don't want that. We all want to look young. That's why we're going through the process of highlighting and contouring. So I'll just use my sasha to set the parts that I highlighted, and also I'll be going back into my black opal deluxe setting powder, deluxe finishing powder. I'll mix both O2 and O4, if I'm not mistaken, together to set the rest of my face. Then afterwards, I'm going to be going into Cover Queen bronzer with my Real Techniques brush, and I'll be using that to lightly bronze the perimeters of my face, so I'll be able to add warmth to my skin. Then I'll go into an eyeshadow palette. It's from Meet Matte Nude, and I'm going to be picking a cool tone shade from it just to slightly cut out my cheek so that I have an eye cheekbone. Then I'm going to be sinking everything that I've applied on my face into my skin, which is using a facial mist. Then afterwards, after when it dries, I will go back with some generous amount of a loose powder at the areas which I highlighted. So this step is basically for those that have oily skin. If you don't have oily skin, please, where you already spray your face is where you should stop. But if you have oily skin and your makeup doesn't really have to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup. Please, if this tutorial helped you guys in any way, don't forget to leave me a comment, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys. Thank you.